Welcome to the Graybeard Chronicles podcast. Your hosts, Brian Halstead and Kevin Harkins, are two gray-bearded patriots who love God, their family and friends, and their country. The Graybeards are here to inspire, inform, and educate you on a myriad of topics they are passionate about. Brian and Kevin have a strong desire to share this with you to help you live your best life. Sit back and enjoy this amazing podcast as the Graybeards pass along the wisdom of the ages.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. I'm Brian Halstead.
And I'm Kevin Harkins.
And Kevin, we're here to pass along some wisdom of the ages. What the heck does that mean?
We're not perfect, but we do have gray beards. And that means we've got some significant life experience, some life lessons, and some perspectives that are worthy of passing along.
Well, I think that sums it up nicely. Let's get to it. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Storytime with K. Hark.
What was that? That was pretty good, actually.
That's you, man. You're going to read me a story. You promised last week you were going to start reading me stories.
I did?
Yeah. And you asked if you could sit on my lap or if I could sit on yours or something like that. Either way is not going to work.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you were going to read me a story because you don't have grandkids to read to. So I offered up my attentiveness. It's somewhere in the same range of children.
I guess I do this to you from time to time, right? Where I just make up stories.
Oh no, I'm not making this up, and I actually have some recorded evidence to show you.
Okay. All right.
Show you and let you listen to. We have both video and audio of this.
I look forward to it. Yes. I'm not exactly prepared at the moment.
Looking forward to story time with K. Hark.
Yeah, K. Hark. Yeah. Story time with K. Hark.
Now that I don't. That's not a good voice to be using around children. That's,
comes across as weak, doesn't it?
No, that comes across as kind of creepy.
Yeah. All right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Story time with K. Hark. How's that? A little bit
scary.
Okay.
Yeah. Somewhere in the middle there.
All right. I'm good.
All right. Good. So what's going on, man?
Woo. That was a start. Didn't see that one coming. You play a pretty good air guitar. That's what I'd say. He was playing our air guitar before we came on to the music, and you kind of looked like you knew what you were doing there. Did you ever do that in karaoke or something?
Play air guitar?
Yeah.
I'm sure I have.
While you were singing?
Yeah. I'm sure I have. I just I don't know, karaoke and air guitar. I'm not sure. I can't confirm nor deny that.
Okay.
It is entirely possible, and that's not that I'm trying to avoid the subject. I just, if I was singing karaoke, it probably is a situation I don't remember.
You don't remember. I understand.
Yeah. And it's probably better that way.
You've seen a whole bunch of people playing guitars and singing, so you kind of know what that looks like.
Yes. And I actually started guitar lessons at the same time as Maddie.
Did you really?
Yeah. And I took a couple of sessions at the same time that she was, and, she just kind of went, took off. And I just said, all right, that's cool. I'll just sit back and watch. Yeah. She took to it naturally.
For you, that was a better spectator sport.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Well, she's doing amazing.
Yes,
haven't
indeed.
seen her in a while, though.
Yeah, she's getting ready to start up again.
Okay.
So she's booked a couple of gigs coming up. So I think the first one's in May, and then she's got one in June as well. And yeah,
she's singing to the new baby.
She is, and the little Miss Lydia certainly enjoys it. She said, "I have not witnessed this." But Maddie says she just kind of sits there and chills and smiles and enjoys it.
Oh, that's neat.
I mean, not that she has a choice; she can't really get up and leave.
Right.
She's hadn't advanced to that stage yet, but.
Very good. Well, I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing her again.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So, what are we talking about tonight, man? What kind of words of wisdom are we slinging this evening?
What are we slinging? There you go again.
Felix, that's for you, man.
All right.
That is for you.
Slinging. One of the things that I really don't like is when you come across like you're weak. Stop saying things that make you weak.
Okay. You're kind of aggressive in your tone.
I don't know where this is coming from. That's the topic for all of you out there, and I just
kind of just scared me to attention. I'm feeling a little threatened
Stop-
here.
stop
I'm gonna.
saying
I don't
that.
know exactly what you said, but I don't want
Stop.
to do that anymore.
Stop saying things that make you weak. It's not original. Like most of the things that we talk about are not original, but the concepts are timeless, and that's what we like on this show. And this is one of those topics. It's from Jordan Peterson, most recently. He's gotten a lot of press from it. It was sent, I'm sure, long before that by other people. But just this whole concept that we should, and he tells a great story about doing this, paying attention to the words that you use, the things that you say, and how so often in life we project, we come across in a way that makes us look weak.
Yeah.
And he's right about that.
Amen. Yeah, and we've done a podcast on a similar subject, just kind of scratched the surface a little bit. I think, I believe the title was "Watch Your Mouth,"
Okay.
or something to that effect.
Yep.
But talking about the power of words and how they can be empowering or disempowering, and really kind of focusing on that. And I think that's what he's talking about. And he goes much deeper into it than I'm certainly qualified to talk about as far as potential psyche issues and so on. But yeah, it's when you start listening to it, it is a really captivating topic because we're all guilty of it. And some of them, I think some of them are worse than others. And at the same time, I think they are all in a way do evidence some weakness or act in a disempowering way.
And you're right. And part of the reason that it's particularly challenging, especially for folks who tend to have more than an ounce of humility in their personality, when you come across as a humble person, especially then, you end up choosing words and saying things that tend to downplay or make you appear to be weak when you're not. And I'm not saying that you got to stop doing that, stop being humble, but it's really true, because when you kind of say, oh, I didn't really do that all that well, or it was just kind of I kind of lucked into it or happened into it, or you have a humility that you're trying to project. Even that, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing that? Why am I saying things that make me come across weak?
Right.
Or you say, I'm just a new guy.
Like self-deprecating humor is a good example of that as well.
Right.
While it can be funny in the moment, are you saying that because it's funny in the moment, or are you saying that because at some deep level in your mind you feel that way about yourself?
Yes, exactly. And speaking of deep, we talked about it just for a minute before we come on the air. This is a very deep subject. If you get into the whole deep psyche kind of stuff of why we say what we do and when we do and what are the circumstances, it comes from a place deep and hidden inside of us. And a lot of times, unless you really stop and decide to pay attention to what you're doing, you won't even realize you're doing it until you focus on it and catch it, and then you go, wow,
Right.
That was amazing. Just thinking about conversations that I had this very day. And you are on, I'm on a Zoom call talking with somebody, and there was a subject that I wasn't the expert on, nor was I supposed to be the expert on. But I started out what I was going to say with, I'm not the expert on this, but, and on and on and on. Just saying that.
Oh, my Jesus.
What's that?
Oh, my Jesus.
Yeah. 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 And it's not that I don't know. When you break it down, you see all of that stuff kind of going on in your language all the time.
Right. And I think things like that, right? So I'm not the expert. People know you're not the expert, and at the same time, you're smart enough to have this conversation.
Right.
You've got enough knowledge, enough mastery of the subject to understand and have an informative conversation about it.
Right. Yeah, and when you do come across weak, what you do is you give yourself an out, and a sort of a method of retreat if you screw something up, and that's probably part of it. There might be some insecurity going on in there when you say, well, you don't have to take my opinion, but here's my opinion. Okay, as soon as you said you don't have to take my opinion.
Right. I just disregarded it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
what people do.
that is a
You
phrase.
just gave him permission.
You gave them permission to ignore you, even though you don't want them to. But
Just gave that power away.
you did, just like that. Another.
Yeah. There's another one that that bugs me, and you know, we've said this before about people that you know, have to do a public speaking presentation, and public speaking is supposedly the number one fear among the American public. It's a greater fear than death, and people will get up there, and the first thing they say is, you know, I don't like public speaking, or I'm not very good at this, or I'm all things that are disempowering, and all things that are showing their weakness, and it's just not necessary.
Yeah. And the problem with saying stuff like that, as we've talked about many times, is when you put that out there in the universe, you put that vibe out there. Why? And another thing that we said often is the brain will answer questions that you ask of it.
Right.
So if you say, why am I so bad at public speaking?
Well, let me tell you the ways.
Yeah. Your brain.
Well, the first thing you do is you tell them you suck at it.
Right. There you go. And your brain goes out and finds all those reasons and reminds you of those reasons, and the next thing you know,
Right. Then you start, you know,
sucking.
projecting that outward behavior,
That's
so
right.
people know why you suck at it.
That's right.
So what else about this subject jumps out at you? Are there any particular words or phrases that you think folks should avoid that you could give examples of?
I can't. I shouldn't have. I won't. I don't want to. I mean, I could go on and on.
Are these the examples or the response to my question?
Those
I can't. I don't want to.
all of that. All of that. I'm not sure I can pull this off.
Right.
I can't do that.
I'll try.
I'll try.
Failing with honor.
Yeah. What did Yoda say? Do or do not? There is no try.
Yeah.
Is it something?
There is something like, yeah. Hold on. I'm going to be quiet so you can do your Yoda voice.
No.
I didn't realize you had that in your bag of tricks. Go ahead.
I can't do Yoda.
Oh, you started out, man. You got to go now.
Do or do not. Do or do
Okay, I was
not.
kidding. Stop.
Do or do not.
There is no try, only do. I don't do a Yoda voice.
Oh, try or try. Yeah, there's no try. Whatever it is, I'm horrible at Yoda. There's going to be 15 people that are going to email me and say, "Wow, that was the worst." That was the most.
Your phone won't be ringing off the hook for voiceover gig offers.
Right.
That's all right.
Speaking of phone, I thought I was hearing one. Am I hearing something? Am I not? No. Okay, I'm good. Man,
I'm sorry. Do I need to excuse
I've gone
myself?
into
Would you and your voices like some time alone?
I've gone into another dimension. See, did that make me sound weak? I think I'm hearing things now. I was replaying that conversation in my head. I'm good. I'm really good.
All right.
Yeah.
Those are good examples of things that you need to be aware of that can be perceived as statements of weakness. You know, saying things about yourself. Here's another one that I think, well, there's one I just caught myself saying it, right? So, the I think thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That phrase, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And while I think many people, there I go with that think again, many people use that as a way to apologize when what they should be saying is, I apologize. The whole word sorry has a negative connotation. When you describe somebody as, you know, that's sorry, S-O-B,
Right.
you're certainly not complimenting them.
Right.
So you're putting that word in, you know, right after I'm. So you're saying that you're sorry. And what you need to be saying is, I apologize.
Okay.
Saying I'm sorry is easy. Saying I apologize takes a little more thought.
Okay.
And
That's an interesting point.
you just might understand and acknowledge what you're apologizing for instead of just coming out, you know, automatically with a I'm sorry.
Yeah. And, you know, speaking about that I'm sorry piece of it, there are so many times that people say they're sorry when there's no need for them to be sorry, and they're really not. See, that's the Jordan Peterson.
Right.
You got, you know, conversations coming through your head that are not in alignment with who you are. And when there's that misalignment, it sort of pulls you apart. And so many times something will happen to somebody, and the reaction that you'll get from it, or from anybody, will be, "Oh, I'm sorry." Well, You shouldn't be sorry. This is not something for you to be sorry about. And if you're really not, when you come across that way and you say you're sorry, it makes you weak.
Yeah, I like this response. Somebody says, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be different.
Okay. That's a good one.
I like that.
All right. Do you say that to folks?
Occasionally. In the right scenario. I don't use it all the time.
Yeah, that's a big one. I'm sorry is a very big one. People will say that all the time. And if you're not sorry, or you don't want to be sorry, or there's no reason for you to be sorry, then don't say it. I mean, you can acknowledge whatever's happening as a true event or a true emotion, but if you're not sorry and if you didn't do anything wrong, that's another one. A lot of times they didn't do anything wrong, but they say they apologize anyway. Now, if it's your wife, that's a different story.
Totally different. That's a caveat we'll throw out there.
That's right.
So this isn't really in this same subject matter, and at the same time, maybe it is. I love you. It bugs the crap out of me, and this is not something I experience. I have witnessed it. People using I love you as an apology or to take heat off of themselves. Or you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't like that at all.
Huh. I think now that you said it, I would have never come up with that on my own. But now that you've said it, I do remember people doing that. Yeah.
Have you been a victim of this?
I have. Actually, now that you've said it, it's come from my wife.
Would you like to move over to the couch?
Yes. Yes. What is he? What? Yes. Yes.
We can talk about this.
It's all, but she does it in fun. You know, she'll do something or she'll spend something. Or
oh, it's okay if it's done in fun.
It's
no issue
fun.
there.
Then she'll kind of look at me and go, "I love you."
Yeah. If she's got that body language to go along with it,
right.
yeah, it's all good.
It's all good. But no, you're right. People will do that legitimately, like they're trying to, well, reduce the intensity of whatever blowback they're expecting to come at them.
Right.
So that's good. I would just encourage folks to examine the language that you use every day, and I'm probably gonna go back and listen to this podcast and go, wow, how many times did I actually come across in a way? But if you can eliminate the big times, most of the times that you do come across that way, and that you understand that it really does make you look weak, and you catch yourself, you'll end up coming across in a way that's very different. And if you've ever watched Jordan Peterson, and I know you have, you can tell that he's very thoughtful about how he talks, doesn't waste words.
The tempo is evidence of that.
Right.
He's clearly thinking out what he's saying and saying every word with intention.
Correct. And not sounding weak. And I know that's part of his psychotherapy, because he talks about it all the time. Not saying things that put you down, or that are self-deprecating, or that are making you sound weak. And I think it's a great habit for folks to try to get into.
Yeah, because it's not healthy. Not only does it make you look weak, it's not healthy, and it's certainly not promoting personal growth when you're saying things like "I'm a failure," or "I suck at this," or "I suck at that," or anything like that.
Or "I can," or "Who do I think I am?" or "I wasn't trained to do that," or "I don't have the money," or all of those things
are not producing a positive mental environment, or certainly not going to produce a positive outcome.
And the power of your subconscious mind, that stuff goes in. It goes into your subconscious mind. It starts rattling around. And because we do it all the time, it sticks. It sticks in there, and then it becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. Your subconscious mind and all those little people inside your head are going, really? I actually thought we were pretty good at that.
Right.
Now he's saying we're not. Well, maybe we're not. And then they start questioning it.
I just thought of another good one. You're right. I'm no good with names. That is I'm not saying that I'm not. I'm saying I hear that all the time. People will say, I'm just not good with names. BS.
My response to that usually is, do you want to be better at it?
Yes.
Stop saying that.
Yeah.
That's the first step.
Right.
Stop saying that you're not good at it, that you're not good with names. And you've got to decide to want to remember them.
everybody is good with names. They just have to decide they want to be. If you any normal person who has a normal memory has so many things memorized.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that it
Well,
just
we're
goes,
only using like
right.
7% of our mind's ability, anyways.
And so when you hear people say that, I think to myself, no, you just haven't decided it's important enough to you.
I don't know though. I think dudes have an out on that.
No out.
I watched this TikTok video
No.
that one of my
my
kids
goodness.
shared here recently, and it was this lady's whole diatribe about dudes and how some people that work with her, have been training people for like 3 weeks, a month, or whatever, and these are two guys, and neither one of them knows each other's name, and she's just giving all these different examples, and she's like, they know what kind of car they drive, they know what kind of beer they drink, they know what kind of food they like. They don't know each other's damn names because dudes just don't pay attention to that. And I think in some ways there's some truth to that.
Now, that I'll
Depending
agree
on the
with.
scenario, right? So I'll give you an example. You go, let's say there's a local watering hole that you hang out at frequently,
Right.
like, maybe Six Bears and a Goat or something like that. You've heard of that place. But anyways, there might be guys there that engage in conversation and know a lot. They know whatever each other drives, they know what kind of beer they like, and they know all kinds of other stuff about one another just based on conversation. And you ask them what their name is, and they're like, oh.
Right.
Yeah. I think you should lead with that. Get somebody's name. And maybe we're going off path here, but I think that's important.
No, saying I'm not good with names is
important.
It makes you sound weak.
Not only do I
does.
think it's important, it is important.
People love their names, and they love to hear
Sweetest
their names.
music to their ears.
Sweetest music to their ears.
Absolutely.
And so taking the time to pay attention, and it's one thing to not pay attention to it. It's another thing to say I'm not good with names. The reason you're not good with names is because
You apparently don't want to be.
you don't want to be. If you wanted to be good with names, you would be good with names. And there's all kind of games you can play in your head to help you understand what people's names are so that it will stick. Just make up funny stories about that name because you put it in a context of something that happened to you in life, and next thing you know, you'll never forget their name.
Yeah.
And it's really true. And I bet all of your club brothers and sisters know all of their, what do you call it, your riding name, your handle, what is it, what are your club names, what is the right
I'm just
phrase?
going to let you keep going so I'm going to bust out laughing here in a minute. But go ahead. What else do you think they are?
Your handle, what did I say, your riding name, your street name, your bike name, your alias, your does business as, what is it?
DBA. That's funny. Road names.
Road-
names. Although some of the others could potentially apply. Alias.
I said
AKA.
street name. Why didn't you give me the ding ding? You're right. That's close enough.
This isn't Family Feud, man. It's you got to be spot on. A word that's close is not going to
road
get it.
name. Okay.
Yeah.
Your road name. Got it. That makes good sense.
Yeah. And it's important to know full names too.
You bet.
Road names are not good enough.
Okay. Well, there you go. See, you've decided it's important to you. I like it.
Yes, indeed.
Everybody, you're good with names. Just decide you want to be. Sweetest music to their ears.
Yes, indeed.
There you go.
How about this one? Did you say this earlier, that I'm stupid
No, I didn't.
or I'm an idiot
Right.
when you make a mistake?
Right.
Why would you say that about yourself? Would you in good conscience say that to somebody else? Okay, maybe that's not a good question. Because, you may say that to one of your friends jokingly. And at the same time, is that something healthy to say to yourself or anybody else? And unless it's true or you want it to be true. Yeah, that's another one of those self-deprecating things.
It is. You actually just reminded me of a hilarious story that's half a step out of the subject matter that we're talking about, but it's in enough. I was sitting in a cafeteria at Coast Guard headquarters years ago, and there was a gentleman who was reinstalling ceiling tile in the overhead. And there was a pipe, a pipe that went up through the overhead, and then pipes and conduit and things that were running. And he was trying to get this odd-shaped piece, the final piece of tile, back into the spot.
Right?
And the interferences were giving him heck. No matter what he did or how he twisted it, he couldn't get this final piece of tile into place.
Right.
And his buddy walks up and he's watching him. And he's
Not offering any help. He's just watching.
Just watching, and then he's giggling. And then he's laughing. And then it's, and the guy gets so frustrated after a few minutes of trying to get this piece in there that it just wouldn't sit right. And finally he says, in a way that made him very weak, "This is how I know God hates me."
Oh my goodness. That's horrible.
I know. And I lost it. I was eating lunch at the table, kind of a couple yards away, and my food came out. It was so funny the way he came down the ladder, and he was so frustrated with himself, and his buddy lost it. I lost it. There you go. This is why I know God hates me.
That's rough, man.
That is. That's, and you know what? He probably goes through life looking at circumstances like that and then blaming God's hatred toward him on all the reasons these things are happening in his life. Self-fulfilling prophecy. There you go.
That's a cool story. A great example of what not to do.
What not to do.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking about so many of the phrases that you hear people use on a regular basis and how they can be perceived as weakness.
Yep.
I think it's just listening to this is going to cause people to think about it differently and maybe critique, have an experience. Jordan Peterson talks about having kind of an out of body experience where he's like his two selves are, one is talking and the other one is watching and listening. And when you start doing that and start evaluating what you're saying, now I'm not suggesting that you actually become two people and that's bad. Just pay attention to what you're saying and really listen to yourself and make sure that what you're communicating is what you actually want to be communicating. And there's not some hidden messages in there that are showing your weakness or creating a negative environment mentally for yourself or others.
Absolutely. And probably for some people, the real reason not to do this is because if you are using repetitive language that's making you sound weak, people are perceiving you as weak. Right. They're looking at you and thinking.
And more importantly, you're perceiving you as weak.
Yeah.
Because that's why you're saying it.
Right. Yeah. So sometimes you might be saying it thinking, it was just kind of funny, or I just kind of rolling with it, or this is just my opinion, or I don't think I can, but da 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 da. No, people are picking up on that stuff, and they're placing you in the he or she is weak category right from the beginning, and very well maybe dismissing in their own mind what you are talking about. They just set it aside. So know that it's not just you and what's going on in your own head, but you're also projecting this. It makes you look weak. Not a way to go through life. So I'm going to start paying close attention.
Yeah, and I'm going to stop saying that, I almost forget to push that button over there, and Kevin reminds me all the time. Because that could be a sign of weakness.
Yeah, there you go.
Although it's true, sometimes I forget to push that button, and,
I got you, man. I got you. If you do.
I know you have my back.
Yep, I got your back.
Yeah.
It's all good.
All right, any final words, closing summary words on this topic?
Not a one. I think we've covered it.
You think?
Oh, yeah. Not a one. We've covered it.
We have covered it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt we could talk for much longer about it and use a slew of examples. And at the same time, I believe the people that are out there listening to this are smart enough to look these things up. And because literally there are probably at least 100+ words in our language, the English language, that show up as disempowering words and things that you might want to look at differently. What I would encourage you to do is look for the empowering ones. Look those up first. And before you spend too much time focusing on the negative ones or the disempowering ones, look up all the positive ones and start interjecting those into your daily language.
Well said.
All right. Well, now I'm going to reach over here and hit this button. And I'm going to say very quickly something like this. No matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing, make sure between this podcast and the next, you take time to enjoy the ride. We made it in time.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. Please subscribe so you'll receive notification when new episodes are available. To learn more about the Graybeards, visit their website, graybeardchronicles.com.